days. You know, when I first joined in 1990, going to strip bars, you know, using prostitutes, that was still very much accepted. I didn't do it. It wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? I mean, not that I've never not been to a strip club, because I have, but the reality is this, is that, you know, the other stuff is just like, I just didn't feel right about that.
Sure.
I didn't feel right about that because, like so many of our youth that go their entire lives without saying anything, I too was sexually assaulted as a 6-year-old. Right? So I get what people talk about when they talk about me too. I get why people are angry about, you know, Mr. Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein, and Keith Epstein. You know, I get that. And why does that relate to what we're talking about here? Because, you know, you want to know what I would say to Michael Madigan? You've been in office for 1 year longer than I've been alive. What have you done to solve any of these problems? 49 years, bro. What have you done? You know, like, are we losing any more children, or do we stop our kids not getting abducted anymore? Has it not become a bazillion-dollar industry where we are, you know, using children for sexual fodder? Right? I mean, where's the concern? Where's the outrage? You know, people want to talk about all lives matter, Black lives matter. Like, no. Well, how about those lives? Right? Like half these kids that get snatched up and put into God only. Just imagine. Imagine if you're the parent. It's disgusting. I mean, and here's how the world is so crazy. And sometimes, and I know that when you start to add all the building blocks, and maybe when you get to 48, you're going to have that same revelation. Like, wow, my life really just got kind of put together, and it gives you a reinforcement of how you feel about your faith, right? And so that happened to me when I was in 1977, right? I wasn't a victim, but that became my barometer for forever about what a victim is. Because I know if you get got, you are not coming back, right? Because a couple years later, there was a kid named Johnny Gosh that got abducted out of Des Moines, Iowa. He was like 12 years old. He was a paper boy. That kid's name has been in my brain for my entire life. Some years later, when I was in the Air Guard here in Peoria, one of my best friends, his name's Chris Gosh, right? That was his cousin. So Chris was younger than I am, right? Johnny Gosh probably would have been 10 years older than Chris. But if you can imagine, that's his cousin. So now his mom's sister, right, is losing her mind, right? I mean, as rightfully so. Can you imagine losing a child and never being able to find out whatever happened to him? Never. Like, not a shred of evidence. You know, and these things happen still today. You know what I mean? But that impacted his family. You know what I mean? So he and I get along because we have the same warped sense of humor, because we know, like, we had to live with that growing up, on how what that reality was, you know? And so, and I guess the point that I'm trying to get to is that, you know, these problems have never gotten better because we've been focusing on the wrong things. You know, people want to fight because, you know, go ahead. So people want to fight because, you know, hey, you're pro-life, I'm pro-choice. You know, okay. Could we just maybe put a pin in that for now? Let's just put a pin in it. Let's just stop for a second and realize, hey, let's just hold what we got. We won't change anything. Let's just agree to not fight about it. So maybe we can focus on something else.